Alright guys, so if you're into RGB panel lights and you want something that is both super powerful but also won't snap your back when you're trying to mount it, then you need to check this out. This is the Sunny Xiao CO2P, and I've been testing it out over the past couple of months on my production, so let's just get straight into it. As someone who is constantly shooting new content and new clients, I am always searching for products that are number one, lightweight and easy to set up, but also deliver high quality colors and power for the price. So when Sunny Xiao, I think it's how you say it, Sunny Xiao, anyway, when they reached out to me and asked if I wanted to test out and review their CO2P light, it really caught my attention for a few reasons. Now this video is not sponsored by them, however, they did send me this light for free in exchange for an honest review about what I do and don't like about the product. So the first thing that caught my attention when pulling this out of the box was how lightweight it was for the size. Like usually, big, huge RGB panels like these are super duper heavy, which makes them really hard to transport and extremely hard to use, especially if you're only a single operator or working with a small team. So being only 12.5 kilos, it really actually took me by surprise. And this is due to the fact that the main frame is made from an aluminium alloy, which not only makes it robust and durable, but easy to work with as well. And they claim the Caster Series light can last beyond 50,000 hours, which is absolutely wild. The Caster CO2P has a 450 watt max output, a 2700 to 10,000 Kelvin CCT range, full RGB modes, a CRR and TLCI average of 95, as well as a ton of dimming control and lighting modes like X, Y, and gel if you wanted to match other fixtures or older tungsten lights easily as well. It also has effects like most lights do now, which I'll show down here. There's like a bunch like party, paparazzi, candle, strobe, cop, just the usual ones that you see on most of these lights. Now, unfortunately, I don't have all the crazy fancy tools to do light metering and all that kind of stuff, so I just have to kind of go off what the manufacturer has specified. But if you do want to get a really good breakdown of output and color accuracy and all that kind of stuff, and actually compare it to a SkyPanel, definitely check out Andrew Locke's video. I'll link it up here. Super duper amazing review, and you get into a lot of detail about all these technical side of things. So go check that out if you're interested in all that kind of stuff. It also has an app, Wi-Fi, ArtNet, wired DMX, and wireless DMX as well. And they do have an app for iOS and Android devices, and actually works really good. Getting the fixtures connected is a little bit cumbersome, but I'll link up a video here about how you can do it via Wi-Fi, which is kind of the main problem I have with the app. So currently, the CO2P doesn't have Bluetooth, which means you can't connect directly to the app via your phone just by Bluetooth. You have to have some sort of connector or bridge system, like a wireless router that you kind of like connect to, and then the light connects to, and that's what connects it, which is good because it means you get really good range and good, penetration and whatnot. But it means you need an additional device to be able to connect this to the app. Now, Sunny Xiao has made this product super easy to use and set up. So when you first get it out of the box, you just need to screw in the junior pin, plug in the cable, and then you are ready to rock. However, this leads to the first problem that I had with this light. So for some reason, they ship the product with a 15 amp cable, which is not really standard or necessary for most lights that are under about like 1,000 watts. Like for example, my Evoke 1200 still uses a 10 amp cable, and that's 1,200 watts. I think it's actually 1,400 watts, which is crazy. But anyway, after I contacted them for some support, they actually express shipped a 10 amp cable over so we could get this set up and ready to use. Now, when I say this light is bright, it is not an exaggeration. Like, I was absolutely blown away by how much light comes out of this panel, even though it's only 450 watts. Like, especially when you start using the RGB modes, it just absolutely paints an entire room with whatever color you're wanting it to be. Now, they say it's brighter than a 2 kilowatt tungsten soft light, but unfortunately I can't compare this because I don't actually own one, but you do get the added benefit of being LED. So it's much more energy efficient and it produces much less heat than the older kind of tungsten fixtures. Now, how you actually control the light is on the fixture itself. So there's these control dials here, and the user interface is really simple. It's really easy to understand, and they have a ton of controls to make sure you get the most out of this light. They've put a really good like handle design here and also here as well, making it like really easy to grab and lift. And since it is only 12.5 kilos, like it's actually really easy to put up by yourself, which is super cool. Now, the user interface is in a bit of a weird position. So if you're using that light upright like this, you kind of have to like get under here to try use it, or every time you want to use it, you have to basically flip it up and then do your controls and stuff. But I guess this is where like using your wireless DMX or app control would be much better than using the panel itself. But yeah, if you are using kind of like facing up, it's going to be a little bit awkward to get into the panel. Now, there is one downside to being super bright, and even though the CO2P has 0.1% adjustment increments, if you are wanting to use this light at night or you're wanting to have like a very dim source, it can sometimes be too bright, even at 0.1%. Now this does sound silly, but it's something to keep in mind. However, the great thing about a light being too bright is that you can always make it dimmer with like extra diffusion, which is actually what we had to do when we were using it on set for a short film as a key light. We basically just like draped over another bit of diffusion, which just kind of like made it even softer. But this actually worked great, and it helped just soften the source a little bit more as well. Using the RGB modes on another short film, again, the output for this is freaking crazy. Like, we rarely used it over like 50 to 75%. because it was just too bright for most situations. So this is a shot where we were shooting where we needed a red light to kind of like spill through a door frame, and this light actually worked perfectly for this. So we just basically like blasted it into the corner of the room, and the spill created this nice like backlight for the character, and also coming through that door into the scene as well. Now, the super cool part about this light is that it's actually got two different sections. So it's kind of hard to see. This is on the 0.1%, so you can see how freaking bright it is. But essentially, there's two different sides to it. So each side can be independent color of each other. And this is really good, especially for like, say this cop car design, because then it actually acts like a light that has two lights on it, and it can actually do that at the same time, which is pretty cool. Now, if we quickly jump to the front here, if we unclip these, we can open this up. This is where the actual front diffusion panel comes out. However, what's cool is there's another slit in here. I don't know if you can actually see that. There's another groove in here, and this is for the hard fixtures. So like your barn doors or your hard egg crates and stuff actually slide in here and then lock into place. They can't come off the light, which is super cool. So now, after using this light for a few weeks, here's what I found. So I typically always reach for COB lights or Bowman's mounts because they're just so versatile and adaptable. However, I have found myself reaching more for this light, especially if you're shooting in a smaller space. And this is simply because the source is so much bigger. Even just using the light by itself without any modifiers, it's super soft and it looks really nice. And sometimes trying to fit a huge 120 centimeter parabolic softbox into a space just isn't doable. Plus, simply adding on their quick up softbox with a snap grid, which is honestly the fastest grid I've ever used. Like, you can make the light suit most of the needs in a very small footprint. Now, in the past, whenever I've needed to add some color to a scene, I've always reached for my Mixpanel 150, which is great, but it's just not powerful enough. Like, that's a 150 watt light. So now having a 450 watt full RGB fixture that can not only double as a compact and lightweight super soft key light, but also a way to add color to a space easily has been a real game changer. Now, it's not all perfect. It is pretty close, but not quite. However, the team at Sunny Xiao have been super helpful and responsive when I have had any questions. Now, the only real gripes I have, aside from, you know, the app being Android, which I found out is now iOS now as well, and the initial power cable being 15 amp, is that the pop-up softbox mounting design isn't the best. It's held on with this like Velcro strap that actually covers the main screen and some of the controls as well. Now, I've been assured after I gave my feedback that they're actually going to redesign this and they're going to have two Velcro straps, so the control panel isn't actually affected in any way in the future. Now, you could actually just use this little like bungee strap and tighten this up to use the softbox and light. Then you kind of have your Velcro bits just hanging out, not really doing anything. So once I kind of put those two in, hopefully it'd go through the grooves here and won't get in the way as much. The mounting strip is a straight design rather than a curved one, which means that you are limited with the angle of use when you start adding on modifiers like the softbox. And I would have loved to seen this as even just an upgrade in the future or an additional accessory that you can purchase at a later date. Now, straight out of the box, you can't power it via any sort of V-Lock battery, but you can actually buy an accessory that you can put on the back, which allows you to use V-Locks to power this. I would have loved to have that as just part of the standard kit, or at least actually know about it when I was getting this light, because we use our lights on V-Lock batteries all the time, and it's just really good to have a really portable system, especially being 450 watts. Like, you can get a lot of power out of that without having too much juice on some big batteries. Now, supposedly this is IP rated. I think it's like IP23 rated or something, so apparently it can be used in the rain. However, I do have a concern, and that is with these ports down here. So the power ports are really good. Like, if you look here, the power ports have got these nice rubber grommets on it. However, these DMX ports aren't there, USB, all these don't have any grommets. So water could easily get in here if you are using it out in the rain. So something to keep in mind is if you are using it, probably don't angle it down like this, maybe angle it up. So when the water actually runs down here, it doesn't go into these ports. However, I would love to see as just like a future update for a version 2 or something, just some rubber grommets to chuck in here so you don't get any water in here if you are going to use it out in the rain. The last thing is they don't currently offer any sort of protection for the light, whether it be a soft case or a hard case. And this does make it difficult to transport, as you know, like when I have to pack my car, I have to make sure that I put it in a space where it's not going to be damaged, you know, taking it to shoots and stuff. And just something like a simple protective case that could be included in the price, or even like tack on a little bit more, would be my go-to option if they did do this, because having some sort of protection, especially moving it around, is absolutely necessary when you're spending this kind of money on a light. So now, after spending quite a bit of time using this product, what I actually think and who do I think this is for? So if you currently use panel lights, but you're looking for a much brighter source, or you shoot in a ton of tight spaces, and you need something that is number one, compact, but also lightweight and like soft straight out of the gate, then this might be the light for you. So the CO2 has a price point of $3,339 or around 5,000 Australian dollars, which I think is a fair price considering that it has the output and the fact that it's IP rated, which most of the other competitors don't offer at this price point. However, again, this is by no means a beginner light. Like, it's designed to be used on professional sets, and it's really a competitor to the Arri SC60C, which is about twice this price. So if you compare it to that, and that's their direct competitor, being half the price is an absolute bargain. Now consider liking and subscribing if you did enjoy this look at the Sunny Xiao CO2P, and if you want to find out any more about this light or where to buy it, I'll leave some links down below. Otherwise, guys, have fun, and I'll see you on the next one.